Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Can't Blog It. My 29 male girlfriend, 24 female of almost 1 year told my son 4 male to call her mommy behind my back. I was married to the most amazing woman 6 years ago. We had been dating for 2 years before we got married. She got pregnant after graduation from college. We were both happy. This is what we had wanted. Our son was born. Life was awesome. Then, 10 months after his birth, while on a trip to get some stuff for the house, her car collided with 2 others. Nothing could be done. Her ribs broke inwards, her lungs were crushed. She died by the time the ambulance came. Life was a bitch. Suddenly, the whole world had collapsed on me. I was in shock. The therapy didn't help. The only thing that kept me going was my son. He was barely 10 months old, but he lived. I forgot about everything else in life and functioned just as a father. I didn't go out, I ignored my friends, and killed my social life altogether. Still, I was proud of what I had accomplished as a single father. Sure, there were a few scares here and there, but overall it was great. My son was healthy and happy. Money was never a problem for me. It still hurt like a bitch inside. I literally felt no temptation to meet anybody else. I was still recovering from it all, I guess. Then I started going out a little. My sister offered to take care of my son. She was great with him, so I felt comfortable. I got back in touch with my friends. I still retained my good physique. There wasn't much to do at home, so I'd just work out. I had started taking care of myself again too. I got used a little to the female attention after blowing off the initial 4 to 5 dates. I know it's bad, but I just couldn't go ahead with them then. I started meeting other women. I just have casual dates with these women, but I'd turned them down before anything physical happened. It took me a long time to even kiss a girl again. On this cycle, I met Natalie, fake name. She was an exceptionally beautiful girl who worked in my industry, loved that I was a single father, and sympathized with my loss. She was a great person and had an awesome personality. I found something special about her, so I stuck with her. It took us almost a month to have sex, but she was very patient with me. I had told her up front that meeting my son is not something that is happening very soon. She understood. We had a great relationship. She complained a few times about me spending a lot of time with my son and barely enough with her, but we made it work after talking about the issue. She only met my son for the first time 2 months ago. I brought her along when we were at the park. She said hi and he just looked up and sorta laughed. He's 4 and he's able to articulate properly, at least small words and greetings, so I told him to say hello. He said that and then the attention was back to the racket and the ball. She clearly liked him. I know she wasn't feigning interest because even when I went a bit away and was busy with something else, she was trying to play with him and interact with him a lot. That was supposed to be a happy moment, but seeing him with her reminded me of my wife and it hurt like a bitch again, but I got over it. So I gradually increased their time together. We still met outside most of the time and not that much inside. We spent the daytime at her place and late night she would come over to mine when my son was asleep. After a point, I felt a little comfortable leaving them alone together. So this week, my sister was visiting in town. My son absolutely adores her. She was his first female contact. I had to leave to take an overnight flight to get some work stuff sorted out, so she stayed at my place. Natalie calls me in the morning and tells me that she wants to visit my son. She's been visiting him a lot, so I think it's okay. When I come back, this is what my sister worriedly tells me. Natalie came around in the morning. She spent around an hour with my son and my sister. They're good friends and get along very well. So my sister got up to make something for them and went into the kitchen while Natalie and my son were in the living room. He was on the floor playing with his toys, I guess. As soon as my sister goes into the kitchen, Natalie picks up my son onto her lap. My sister tells me that she heard her trying to get him to call her mommy. He usually calls her by a shortened version of her name, which also makes him giggle for some reason. Think Natty. So he said that and he giggled. My sister leaned in to see what they were doing, and according to her, my girlfriend was saying to him, "No, not Natty, mommy," and repeated that again till my son said it. Then she kept on saying, "I'm your mommy, mommy," and more like that. My sister was alarmed but didn't say anything. He's done that with her too, but she always brought up a picture of his mother to show him, so he stopped calling her that. I have always told him that the angel in the picture is mommy. It took him time, but he stopped calling anyone else mommy. I had told my girlfriend about this before and she had agreed. I had told her that it was important to me that my son know who his real mother was. She said she understood. And now here I am, angry, frustrated, enraged, and feeling a bit betrayed. I don't know how long this has been going on. I haven't said anything about it to her. She knows I'm pissed about something. We have our 1-year anniversary coming up in 20 days. I had big plans for that. Now, I don't know what to do. Do you guys have any ideas? Well, Opie, first of all, I'm so sorry for your loss, but it sounds like you've been working on yourself and you've taken the time to grieve and you want to move forward, so good for you. Now, regarding what she did by trying to get your son to call her mommy, I think that is very, very wrong. And you saying you feel a bit betrayed is an understatement in my opinion. She absolutely betrayed your trust. She knows how you feel about this issue and she told you she understood, but then she goes behind your back and tries to get your son to call her mommy? I honestly don't know what her endgame is here. Maybe she wants you to see your son calling her mommy and that'll plant the idea in your head that you need to ask her to marry or something like that, which sounds incredibly manipulative and crazy. Also, what happens if your sister hadn't seen this and Natalie eventually does get your son to think of her as mommy and for any other reason you guys break up? That's just gonna hurt your son. That's not fair. OP, you need to sit down with your girlfriend, tell her what you know and have the difficult conversation. I don't know if this means the end of a relationship for you. Personally, I would have a hard time trusting somebody who tries to manipulate my son like this. I don't like it. And what do you guys think about this? Let me know in the comments what you would do if you were in OP's shoes or what kind of advice you would give him. And now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Shelf Life Inc. says, use your words. Tell Natalie that your sister overheard her trying to get your son to call her mommy. You set a boundary and she broke it. Tell her how angry, frustrated, and betrayed you feel after you clearly established that you do not want your son calling anyone but your late wife mommy. Either she comes out with a clear, sincere apology on her own volition and you work on regaining trust, or she is no longer allowed to see your son. The Lemurologist says, this is not okay. This crosses so many boundaries. This is not respecting your wishes. She is not respecting your parenting decisions. I think she may be jealous subconsciously of your wife. You're still not over your wife. I get that. If I lost my husband, I'd only be able to survive because of my kids. She may say she understands, but really, this is not something one can understand until it happens to them. While you realize that your wife is gone, she is very much present for your girlfriend and she's most likely trying to make you move on quicker. But as I said, this is not okay. If a man tried to do that with my children after I had made it clear that this would not be acceptable, the relationship would be over. It is damaging to both you and your son. If you wish to continue your relationship, then when you confront her, which you should, make it clear that from now on all interactions between her and your son will now be under strict supervision by you, and I would also cut back on the amount of time that she has with him. Remind her that you set clear boundaries that she violated and that there are consequences to that violation. She has lost your trust and she needs to know that. This is not negotiable. She needs to understand that spending time with your son is a privilege and not a right. I hope that all this can be resolved successfully. And OP responds, she can help me move on all she wants, but she could have kept my 4-year-old son out of it. Cuddle Moms says, I don't think you should be together. Nowhere in your text does it say that you love her or that you decisively want her in your life. You still love your wife and she's just sort of a pleasant substitute. I'm sure you like her and you care about her, but until you let go of your wife, you'll be hurting her and your son eventually. Can you give her 100%? If not, you know what you have to do. You said about your wife, the most amazing woman in the world. You didn't describe Natalie anywhere near that. Sorry, I usually support people trying to work things out, but in your case, I really don't see it. Don't force yourself to be with someone in the future either. You will feel when your mind and soul are ready, and that you will start looking at women differently, with more than rational and analytical interest. And OP responds, I want to move on with my life. We have a great relationship. I had something really monumental planned for us in our 1-year anniversary. In the light of what happened, can you really blame me for not posting my love for her all over the text? I'm mad at her right now and I'm feeling betrayed. After what she did, I'm not in the correct mindset to call her the most amazing woman. I will never be able to completely forget my wife. Why? Because I have my son with me. He was our son and he will always be a living reminder of my wife. I was young and that affected me deeply. Additional information from OP. I'm mad because it was a line crossed. It may have happened before when she was alone too. It is a huge breach of my trust. I know she cannot fully understand, but this was one thing I spelled out for her at the very beginning. I had told her very seriously about how I really wanted him to know who his real mother is and that there be no substitute for her. I know that this isn't coming across as a very serious problem to others, but this was one thing I was really scared about, and it's a terrible betrayal on her front. It wouldn't be bad if my son would have by mistake called her mommy, but she herself told him, "I'm your mommy," while I have told him since the beginning about his real mother. That's just a terrible thing to do on her part. Doesn't matter if it was because of enthusiasm or something else. I understand that it may have been a beautiful moment if he called her mommy in front of me, but only if it was natural. She's trying to get him to say that by feeding him false information. What the F? I do love Natalie. There's a reason I chose her. I could have dated other women then too, but I found something special about her. That's why I kept it going with her. Honestly, we have talked about our future together, and we did have plans for more children. I know that she'll always try to fill that gap. I know that it is tough for her also. Several times she has looked at the picture of my wife and cried. I've consoled her and told her that I see my future with her. The point is that my son will always come first. Even with my wife, I would have kept my son before anybody else. Her doing what she did affects my son, and that is what bothers me. I see her as my wife in the future. I see her taking care of my son. I see us raising him together. I love seeing them together. I want her to be the feminine half of the parental care that he receives, but I don't want my son to forget who his real mother is. My son's 4, and I just want that whatever is told to him is the truth. My girlfriend cannot be telling him that she is his mother. I have to consider my son in every step of this relationship. If Natalie and I were to break up, God forbid, what will I tell my son? That he lost his mommy again? Considering many of you are saying, "You are not over your wife," this needs to be said. I was very young when I met my wife. She was truly a great person. I loved her a lot. Things were really good between us. We had a child of our own. She held him and cared for him for 10 months. He wouldn't remember that, but I do. I do not want him to forget the woman who gave birth to him, cared for him, and loved him more than life itself. I just want him to know that. He will understand in the future. I don't want him to forget her. Sure, she wasn't there for him growing up, but that was not by choice. Now, I don't want my son to worship his mother. I don't want my son to compare mothers. If I am to get married someday, I do want him to love and respect the woman who raised him. But at the same time, I want him to know that there was also another woman who brought him into this world and cared so much for him. I'll talk to Natalie about all of this. I don't want to break up, but I do want her to know that she has effed up colossally and that this will set back our relationship. I'll try and be delicate. Also, most replies now are negative and aggressive, so I'll hop off Reddit. So, no point in posting anymore. There are other people who need your advice. Thanks for the advice you have given me. I promise I will update. Well, I for one think OP's heart and mind is in the right place. His son comes first. Now, OP did give us 3 different updates that were kind of short, so I curated them all into one and added the additional information from the comments. So let's move on with that to see how this story ends. Hey guys, just thought I'd quickly update you on what happened between my girlfriend and me. Basically, I talked to her. She did agree that this had indeed happened, so she didn't deny it. That was a good thing. I asked her why she did it. She gave the reason that she always felt like an extra in my life. She thought that we could be closer if we tried to be a family. I explained to her, in a calm, composed manner, that we can't just pretend to be a family, and that her trying to make a permanent bond with my 4-year-old son, who she'd known for only 2 months, wasn't quite the way to do it. She cried and apologized. Nevertheless, this was a huge setback in our relationship. It's difficult to look at things the same way after what happened. Our big anniversary surprise is cancelled. I'll make up for it sometime later. We are still dating, but she isn't going to meet my son anytime soon. This meant that we'd be spending fewer nights together, but she understood. I'm also going to see a child therapist to get this mommy thing sorted out once and for all so that my son isn't emotionally affected. For those of you saying that what she did was 100% right, it wasn't. My girlfriend and I are dating. She has known my son for only 2 months. If a mommy bond were to form right now and we were to break up, it'll affect my 4-year-old too. That'll have to wait for marriage, which honestly is something I have mentally pushed back for now. It'll take time to get the trust back with her. That said, I'm not aggressively holding this over her. Yes, she made a mistake and she apologized. I am worried, not hostile. I do love her. She crossed a big line that she was not supposed to behind my back. I can't ignore that. I know she wants more and I'm trying my hardest, but it is difficult when I have a son. She hopefully understands that. Yeah, she might think that I'm too much to handle for her. She might break up with me. I can't prevent that. But if she doesn't, she's a keeper. Right now, trust is the important thing that needs attention. If I can get that back, I don't think we'll have many problems. I'm not going to break up with her. Had she denied what she did for 1 second, I would have walked out of there and never looked back. But she accepted her mistake and was ready to face the consequences. A little time away from my son. That's one positive thing at least. 1 month later. I know all of you guys would be expecting a wonderful update with all of us becoming one big happy family. Sorry, but I got bitch slapped by life. Since a couple of weeks ago, she kept pushing me again and again over visiting my son. I told her no firmly, but she kept on being passive aggressive. All I wanted was a little more time, but she pushed me to a limit. She said that my son was missing her. He was not, and that I'm doing a disservice by keeping her out of his life, and that I'm a horrible parent and I can't raise my son alone. We had a big fight over it and we broke up. She broke down and crawled back and apologized, but things were never going to be the same. If I was not a parent, I know I'd probably get back together with her, but that's not the case. I have my son to think about, so no, never gonna happen. I mean, it effing sucks, this entire thing, but I will absolutely go no contact. I don't resent her for what she did. Dating a single parent, especially with my kind of baggage, is tough. I know that. She'll also be better off, I suppose, with someone who can devote all their attention and time to her. You all have no idea how much I wish she would not have done what she did. I would love for my son to have a maternal figure, but for someone to be that, I have to truly trust them. Anyways, these are the cards that I have been dealt. I have to accept that this has happened. And I haven't lost my faith in the female population. I know that somewhere out there is someone wonderful, but I'll take my time to meet her. I'm not going to jump into it all too soon. It'll also take me time to build trust with someone again. Silver lining? More time with my son. And 1 year later. Hello everyone. Almost a year ago I came here to talk about my life going upside down. I lost a great girlfriend, someone I thought I could finally trust and allow into my son's life. That did not go well. Anyway, that time of my life was very difficult, but I really got some great perspective from the people on here, so I just wanted to thank you all once again. I feel like I'm in a really good position in my life right now and everything feels awesome. I've put all the pieces together and my son and I are really happy. He's doing great and is healthy. So yeah, this was more of a thank you rather than an update, but I really meant it. I was really confused and some of the advice I got on here was instrumental in sorting that mess out. Thanks Reddit, take care. P.S. I'm thinking of getting us a dog. What do you guys think of border collies? Well, OP, I for one think border collies are awesome, incredibly smart and great dogs. A lot of energy though, so you'll have your hands full. Anyways, OP, considering everything that happened and that you shared with us, it's good to know that you're in a good place. So there's not much more commenting on that other than saying all the best in the future, OP. Take care. Now at this point, I would usually read you guys a mood booster or mood enhancer. However, I'm going to shamelessly plug my shorts channel. Check out the malicious compliance video in this card. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.